excellent day for a top game as the Miami Dolphins, who've not won a playoff game since 1974, get set to kick off to the high-scoring San Diego Chargers. Don Criqui with John Brodie as Von Schaman kicks off for Miami. James Brooks, the brilliant rookie from Auburn, takes it across the 20. Excellent special teams play by Miami as linebacker Steve Potter comes in, makes the knockdown. And the Chargers, Don Coryell, piloted by Dan Fouts, number 14, come out onto the field. His runners are Chuck Muncie and James Brooks, and they're both outstanding, as you know. And so are the wide receivers, Charlie Joyner and Wes Chandler. The tight end, Kellen Winslow, is an all-pro who breaks records. Shields, Wilkerson, Masick, White, and Washington take care of Coryell's offense, and their quarterback, Fouts, has only been sacked 19 times. Pitch back to Muncie. And Chuck Muncie on a first and 10 play takes it across the 25-yard line to about the 26. The Dolphins consider stopping Muncie in the running game and forcing Fouts to pass a #1 priority. Doug Betters, Bob Baumhauer, and Kim Bocamper across the defensive front for Miami. Brudzinski, Roan, Dewey, and Gordon back the line. Fulton Walker, rookies at one corner, Gerald Smalls the other, and the Blackwood brothers, Lyle and Glenn of the deep backs. Don Shula and his Dolphins set to go on the home field. They're defending right now. Second down. Here's the penalty marker. They go right back to Muncie. He doesn't get much. Got out to the 28-yard line. During this season, Chuck Muncie ran for over 1,100 yards, averaged 4.6 yards a carry. As you see, the call by referee Fred Wyatt is against San Diego. Muncie scored 19 touchdowns rushing, #1 in the NFL. David Woodley getting that hand ready, John.
False start, 67. Second down.
He knows the importance of his play to the outcome of the game today, Don, but when you take a look at Fouts, the #1 offense in the National Football League this year, and in my opinion ever, and the stats bear that out. I don't think there'll ever be another quarterback that averages 300 yards a game throughout a 16-game season. I think you'll see him use a lot of motion. He'll use it to try and get Miami to audible into different types of defenses. They don't like to do that, but they are very active. He wants to put a little burden on them. Here you've got Joyner in motion now.
Second down and about 12. Here's a swing pass to Muncie. The Miami defenders close in, and Muncie struck hard but keeps on going. Here's a penalty marker coming in. Use that play a lot where they'll swing Muncie out. Nothing good downfield. And you see Muncie's numbers. He's caught 43 balls. That was his 44th reception. He's been involved in a lot of offense, 1,500 yards worth.
And a lot of touchdowns, pal.
19.
You take a quarterback that's throwing 33 touchdowns, and we're going to get a first down on a face mask call. You have to have a guy like this to really make everything effective. This is the dimension that's changed the whole San Diego offense. 19 touchdowns throughout the season. Chuck Muncie's the man that's responsible for, I think, putting their offense over the hump.
Face mask call goes against Miami.
#40, first down.
Dolphins are the least penalized team in the National Football League.
And have been for the last 6 years, Crick. Now that means it's not a fluke. Okay.
An interesting converse to that, though, John. Oftentimes, teams that win the Super Bowl are some of the most penalized teams because they're the most aggressive. Teams like Pittsburgh and Oakland. That's right. It is now first down and 10 for the Chargers. The unbelievable San Diego offense would set 10 National Football League records. Fouts has a problem. He doesn't like to run, but this time he has to, and he throws a strike to Kellen Winslow at midfield. A 17-yard gain, and now some stuff comes in after the play. Boy, he's getting a little exercised early. Winslow, he's going for extra bases all the time.
I'm going to be interested to see what the penalty is. Here we see Dewey. He's doing what he does best. From his linebacker position, they're putting a blitz on Fouts. They force him out of the pocket. And Mike Kozlowski, number 40, the defensive back in the nickel situations, got Winslow man-to-man, I think, throughout most of the afternoon, and he's got his hands full. You don't see Danny rolling out very often. It was a very correct call, Don. He caught the ball inbounds, but he had already stepped out of bounds. When that happens, you're an ineligible receiver.
Don Coryell, somebody here in Miami, wrote he's got the expression on his face like a man whose shoes are a couple sizes too small. But his players love him. Second down and 10. Here's Muncy turning upfield. And the Dolphins, who've been shutting teams down time and again in the second half of the season, put the knock on Chuck Muncy. A.J. Dewey, one of those big, rangy Miami linebackers. Dewey at 6'4", 245 pounds out of LSU. The really defensive lineman size. He was that when he came up, A.J. Dewey. And he will also rush the passer from an up-close position.
Don, you know, over the years, the really outstanding coaches don't get too technical, too concerned with specifics in a game of this sort. Even though they've had a couple weeks to prepare, they want to make sure the intensity level stays high so they don't give them a lot of problems to think about. And you've seen that in the first series of plays today defensively for Miami.
Dolphins apparently confusing Fouts because he took too long to get the snap away, and then you saw him fumble the snap. So the Chargers misfiring a little bit early in the game.
False start, 57.
It was the 30-second clock you saw superimposed on the screen. The Orange Bowl getting a workout this weekend. A great Orange Bowl, the 48th renewal of that college football classic last night as the Clemson Tigers win the national championship with their victory over Nebraska, completing a dream season 12-0. 80,000 there last night, and again today. The Orange Bowl is jammed, and the Dolphins historically have been awful tough to beat when the building sold out under Shula. In sold-out Orange Bowls, they've won 20 games and lost just 2. Third down and 13 coming up for San Diego. Fouts takes a look way downfield, gets it away. Wes Chandler goes up and gets the ball, and he's inside the 25-yard line. Wes Chandler with a brilliant acrobatic move makes the big play, and the Chargers roll.
All right, how do you stop them all, right? You've got 2 backs to cover, 3 wide receivers that have gained over 1,000 yards throughout the year. You can't stop everybody if you give Fouts some time. You see Chandler come down, makes an outstanding move to the middle of the field. Now, this is a perfectly thrown ball, but a great catch. Very few receivers would have taken it in and made it look so easy. He does for a 54-yard gain. What did we say at the beginning of the game? The way you stop Fouts in group is keep the ball away from him. Miami hasn't had a chance to control it yet.
Not yet. They have not had their hands on the ball, and the Chargers get the big long yardage play, the 54-yard gainer. Now they're threatening. No score in the first quarter. Here's Muncy. Guards pull out with great defensive play. Fulton Walker, the rookie cornerback from West Virginia, makes the open field tackle and a direct hit on big Chuck Muncy. The knockdown for a loss on the play, as the ball will be spotted outside the Miami 25-yard line. Loss of 3 on the play. It'll be second down and 13. Don Coryell is in his 9th year as a head coach in the NFL. First at St. Louis, now at San Diego. 5 of his teams have won divisional champions, including this San Diego team, which is AFC Western champion.
They've all done it throwing, too.
They leave the hotel throwing, Dan Fouts and company. Fouts stands in, drills it out, and Kellen Winslow makes the reception down to the 15-yard line, as again the Chargers strike.
A.J. Dewey again as a linebacker trying to put pressure on Fouts. Number 77, what he does best is get after the quarterback. Fouts knows that. When you do that, you leave a lane for your quarterback to throw. Even though Winslow is double covered, you can see Kozlowski, it's his job to stay in the shadow of Winslow all day long. That's a tough order. Winslow makes a fine catch, and 3rd and 2.
Interesting match in the last 5 games. No team has gained 200 yards in a single game passing against the Dolphins. San Diego averages 300 yards a game. That's an average. Muncy eludes the tackle, and Muncy is finally hit on a hard strike by Fulton Walker. Walker, a 5'11", 193-pound cornerback, has been a target area for opposing offenses because he's a rookie. He's replacing Don McNeil, Miami's best defender, who's out with a broken arm, but could see some action today.
What he is doing and what he did do is he possibly gained them an extra 4 points with that tackle. He made a great play earlier in this drive. He is aggressive. When you have a running back that's 230 pounds, you don't stand around and try to wrestle him to the ground. You take your shot and you hope you hit. That's what he's done twice.
See Benerska's numbers. He's been very good this season. Straightaway shot. First points are up. Ralph Benerska hits a 32-yard field goal for the San Diego Chargers, and with 9:49 left to play in the first quarter, San Diego, capitalizing on the long strike, the 54-yard pass play, finally comes up with a field goal.
Right guard solid, because a man needs all the protection he can get. Right guard solid has an action-triggered formula, triggered to release protection when your body needs it most. So the more you sweat, the more protection you get. Right guard solid, action-triggered to help keep you dry and odor-free all day. Right guard antiperspirant solid. The more you sweat, the more protection you get.
1,000 feet over the Orange Bowl is the Goodyear Blimp Enterprise from Pompano Beach, Florida. Celebrating his birthday today is Captain Patrick Henry of the Enterprise, the cameraman Al Camoin. It has been a spectacular week of weather. South Florida putting its best foot forward for a big week of Orange Bowl celebration and now National Football League playoff action. The Chargers come down the field and finally connect on Benerska's 32-yard field goal. It's a 3-0 game. San Diego. Benerska set to kick off, and Fulton Walker, the rookie, is back deep for Miami. A high kick, it'll carry short. Blockers form in front of Walker. He takes it at the 8, 15, and the 20. Not done till he crosses the 25 out to the 27-yard line. So Fulton Walker having a good year returning kicks for Miami, averaging 25 yards. A kickoff return takes it back, and David Woodley comes out. Tony Nathan's been missing recently with a knee problem, but he's back today. Andra Franklin, the rookie from Nebraska, is his big fullback and blocker. Duriel Harris has had a knee problem, but he's ready to go. And so's Nat Moore, the other wide receiver. Ronnie Lee starts at tight end, but they use 3. Easler, Kuchenberg, Denard, Newman, and Laxo are the offensive linemen for Miami. They're intact for the first time since October. The last time this offensive line was together, Miami had 529 yards offense against Dallas, a record. Franklin tries to go wide, but Big Louie Kelcher runs him down. Big Louie from SMU's had his injury problems this year.
I'll tell you, he can play pretty well injured, but when he's healthy, as he says he is right now, he is awesome. Remember, he's made All-Pro a couple times, and every offensive lineman recognizes and respects him.
They're the defenders for Miami. For San Diego, Willie Buchanan and Mike Williams at the corners. Deep backs, Glenn Edwards and Pete Shaw. Lyndon King, Bob Horn, Woodrow Lowe, the backers. It's 2nd and 14. Here's Woodley running across the 30. Slides out to the 33-yard line. David Woodley, a very, very good runner. He shook up the Buffalo defense with his ability to run, and he likes to go straight up the field when the pass coverage is there.
This is something he has to feature. When Woodley's playing quarterback, he's got to run the ball to be as effective as he can be. Take a look. That's Bob Kuchenberg, 67, on Big Hands Johnson, number 79, another all-pro defensive tackle. When you break that plane, you've broken something. And Cooch is the guy that a lot of hope depends on, because he's been hurt for the past 5 or 6 weeks. They say he's healthy now. If he plays well, that'll nullify Johnson and help a lot.
They're looking for the big game from Kuchenberg, and now David Woodley has to run away from the problems. He cannot do it as Leroy Jones, 6'8". That's his number, and that's his height. Big body, they call him, 6'8", 265 pounds. San Diego's defense rates 27th, but in sacks they're near the top, had 47 this year.
And they played well lately, Don, and that's the encouraging part for San Diego. Don't think San Diego isn't aware that David Woodley has to get outside that pocket, and when he does, he can be very effective. Those defensive ends have been instructed to make sure they don't get around you unless the situation is extreme.
Tom Morris, rookie punter from Ohio State, hits the ball downfield. Back takes it not too deep. This is Wes Chandler, and he is all trouble in an open field, and Wes Chandler could go the distance. Wesley Chandler's inside the 10. He's in the end zone, and there are no markers down, and San Diego rips out to a 9-0 lead. This great athlete from New Smyrna Beach, Florida, and the University of Florida comes back to his native state and returns a punt 56 yards for a touchdown. He has 100 yards total offense already. You'll recall the 54-yard reception he had that set up the field goal.
Wes Chandler can do about anything with a football that you ask a man to do with once he's got it in his arm. Great receiver. You saw him catch a 54-yarder to set up the field goal. Now he takes a punt, returns it for a touchdown. And this is the one thing Miami didn't want to have happen. They get in a hole when they can't control the ball and control the pace of the game. Now you're really in trouble when you're playing San Diego, whether you be at home, away, or on the North Pole.
Well, the troubles increase as the extra point is up and good, and with 7:24 left to play in the first quarter, the Chargers streak out to a 10-0 lead. That was the first time a punt has been returned against a Miami team for a touchdown in 6 years. We'll be back at the Orange Bowl after this.
There's a new kind of driving machine. Dodge Charger 2.2 has a new running mate, Dodge Rampage. America's first sports pickup, like Charger. 0 to 50 in 6.6 seconds. Front-wheel drive for handling and exceptional mileage. Rampage hauls over half a ton for as little as $66.98. Go on a Rampage.
It's a whole new kind of driving machine.
Get a car, get a check. $300 to $1,000 on select new Dodges. See participating dealers for full details.
Nothing makes a master brewer more proud than seeing a beer drinker choose his beer, like last year on live TV.
30, 49, 50%. 50% of loyal Michelob drinkers preferred the taste of today's Schlitz.
Well, since then, millions of you beer drinkers have put our beer to the test. So now I say thanks for choosing our Schlitz. And here's to a great 1982.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
Thursday, Belker meets Captain Freedom, and after a brutal mass murder, Perillo declares war on the street gang.
Somebody's gonna pay for what happened last night.
On Hill Street Blues.
Wes Chandler just returned a punt 56 yards for a touchdown. And now the San Diego Chargers, a slight underdog on Miami's home field, have opened up a 10-0 lead. Don Criqui with John Brodie in his AFC Divisional Playoff game. Here's the kickoff. Takes a hop back the wrong way. That might have touched the Dolphin.
It doesn't matter who it touched, Don. I couldn't believe the reaction of the special team. They're dodging the ball. They must think it's a punt. Now that's a mistake you just very seldom see, Donnie. The ball gets up in the air. Obviously, anybody knows once it goes 10 yards, it's anybody's ball. You can catch it on the fly. You can catch anything you want. The San Diego special teamers are backing off it, and the Miami special teamers don't know where it is. It hit right where the wedge started. The people in the deep position never did get into a position to catch the ball. And Hank Powers, the man that's been their special teams guy over the last 4 or 5 years. How many games have started out this way in these playoffs where special teams have actually dictated the outcome?
Great ball, and the Chargers have it again, and now they're looking for some more. And here's a strike in the flat. As Fouts guns it out to Charlie Joyner, the veteran wide receiver from Grambling.
Let's watch Tom Orris trying to stop Chandler from scoring. You get an athlete like Chandler one-on-one with only even 7 or 8 yards to move in. He's gone.
Like trying to hit a puff of smoke.
You see, 56-yard return. Wes Chandler, once he catches the ball, is darn near as effective as getting to one. Orris found out 10-0 San Diego and going again.
It is all going the Chargers' way early in this game. Now they go to Muncie. He dips to the outside and is knocked down at about the 17-yard line. The strong safety Glenn Blackwood tackled him. 6:24 to go in the first quarter.
In a 5-second period of time, Don, I think I have seen 2 special team plays by Miami that I didn't see one of in the past 3 seasons. Now, I don't know what the effect of playoff games is on individual performance, but that's shocking.
Shocking to the Dolphins, that's for sure, as they find themselves down 10-0 at the outset. Muncie running hard, run down by A.J. Dewey. He was first tackled. First man to make the hit was Lyle Blackwood. But Muncie runs it down inside the 10-yard line. Got about 8 on the carry, so it's going to be second and short yardage for San Diego as they're knocking at the door again.
Don, we've mentioned throughout the season that San Diego used to have a bit of a problem once they got inside the 20 because they didn't have anyone that once they got to the door could open it. It's all changed.
Muncie with great speed and the size of a fullback. 6'4", 230 pounds. He's going to option pass it, loops it up. Wes Chandler broken up at the last moment. Glenn Blackwood, the strong safety, came over and averted another San Diego score.
All right, it was a poorly thrown ball. Muncie knows he's got his receiver so wide open. But Blackwood made an excellent defensive play, timing it just right, or it would have been a touchdown anyway. Chandler sets it up pretty well, slides right by the the cornerback rolling over. Blackwood makes a good play.
Now the Chargers go again, 3rd down and 2. Cappelletti's in, quick iron, it goes to the tight end, Kellen Winslow, just looping it over the middle of that big target. He's down to the 1-yard line, and it's a 1st down.
That's the dimension of Dan Fouts. You take a look at Kellen Winslow, you see if he gets inside the linebacker, as he does. Once you're inside the linebacker, it's nothing but a little dink pass over the middle. Easy way to pick up 6 critical yards.
Winslow, the man who's led the National Football League in receiving the last 2 years. About 88 this year, 89 last year. Next year he's going for bonus, going for 100. Muncie, nothing there.
Don, it's no automatic when you get down to the 1-yard line against the real good defenses. Take a look. They win at the line of scrimmage. Dewey gets penetration, stops Muncie, and by the time he gets underway again, the whole group's there.
We mentioned earlier he tied a National Football League record with 19 rushing touchdowns this year, Chuck Muncie. Now the Chargers set up a yard away from the Miami goal line. 2nd down and goal. Muncie again, touchdown San Diego, and all of a sudden with 3:59 to go in the 1st quarter, the Chargers have blasted this game wide open.
It was made to look so easy, Don. Listen, this is a defense that's played as well as any in the National Football League in the past month. Offensively, the Chargers have just been the better group early in the ball game, even with the turnovers. Muncie runs it in the end zone untouched, and when you talk about blocks, the whole offensive right side of the line moves people into the end zone. Look at Winslow on Fulton Walker. Never got to the goal line to make a play.
Good block also by John Cappelletti, and now the point after attempt by Benerski, who's getting a lot of work here early in this game. He has 5 points already, and the Chargers extend their lead. A commanding advantage for San Diego, a 17-0 lead over Miami. We'll be back.
Once again, let me reiterate that on this
I'm hungry. Because that's freedom.
And it's right around the corner at your 7-Eleven. Freedom's waiting for you. Woo! Freedom! Freedom from the hassle, freedom! Freedom from delay. At your 7-Eleven. Freedom's waiting. As I was saying,
Last cold contact. This cold Comtrex. I switched because Comtrex relieves my aches, pains, and fever. Contact doesn't.
Last cold, Tylenol. This cold, Comtrex. I switched because Comtrex has the same aspirin-free pain reliever. Plus, it relieves my cough.
You can take any of these for a cold, but for one with nasal congestion, runny nose, aches, and coughs, Comtrex multi-symptom cold reliever does more. All by itself, Comtrex gives more kinds of relief than Dristan or Contac or Tylenol. Next cold, try Comtrex. It does more.
Don Criqui with John Brodie back at the Orange Bowl in Miami. 3:58 to play in the 1st quarter, and San Diego's opened up a 17-0 lead. They've all been getting work. 54-yard punt return for a touchdown, the big play of this game.
That's right. As Bernishka sets the ball back on the tee, there is a slight wind. This is such a critical drive for Miami. They don't have to go out and throw all caution to the winds right now. What they have to do is try and get back in the ball game. If you recall, the one mistake that Ferguson made last week in the playoff game, they've got a 24-0 lead. He throws one interception. It changes the whole of the momentum, and the game ends in a Donnybrook. So
there's Tommy Vigorito taking a high, short kickoff. Vigorito breaks it out across the 35-yard line, so Miami starts in good field position at their 38.
That's the kind of play they need, just to get people excited, get their own offensive line generated.
There have been some wild comebacks in the wild card games. You recall last week when the Jets almost pulled it out against Buffalo after they were way down in that game, 24-0 at one point. And then Philadelphia rallied back but couldn't catch the New York Giants. Earlier today, Dallas annihilated Tampa Bay 38-0. Right now, Miami is trailing in the first quarter 17-0. First and 10, Dolphins. Woodley in the flat. Bruce Hardy, one of his tight ends, makes the reception at about the 44-yard line, a gain of 5. Woodrow Lowe, an Alabama linebacker, 51, was the tackler.
Well, you leave Hardy open for most of the afternoon, and Woodley will have a field day because that guy can run fine patterns from his tight end position. They're going to try to put a burden on the linebackers.
It's like Clemson fans there, John. Some of them haven't left here for a week.
I wouldn't want to leave either if I were them.
They have something to celebrate, and they did last night with gusto. Hand off to Tony Nathan, his first carry in some time, and Nathan on the 2nd and 5 maybe got a yard. Leroy Jones, 68, was on the stop for San Diego as the game clock is down to 2:55 and running. Oh, it happens fast when the great teams start to roll. You remember that Miami's defense had Fouts in the offense of San Diego in a 3rd and 14. San Diego looked to be in trouble in their own end, and then the perfect strike down the field to Wes Chandler for a 54-yard gain. Field goal was good subsequently. Then they recover a kickoff. Miami let roll, score a touchdown. Now here's a free ball, and San Diego has it. It's intercepted by Glenn Edwards. He's going in, unless Ed Newman can get him, and he does. Ed Newman gets him down the 9-yard line.
Tell you what, if you drew it up on a drawing board and you lived in San Diego, you couldn't have drawn it up any better. I mean, every opportunity to make something happen for themselves has turned into a plus. 35-yard return. Pine Edwards, we mentioned earlier, has been one of the key reasons for their success late in the season defensively, and that's the way you get successful. You pick up the bobbles, you keep them from making the long play, get the big turnovers, and put yourself in a commanding position. Ed Newman making a pretty good play just to stop it from being a touchdown.
Hurricane season coming early in 1982 to Miami, Florida. San Diego hitting the Dolphins like a hurricane. James Brooks runs hard and takes it down from the 11-yard line down close to the Miami 8. Bob Brudzinski makes the tackle for the Dolphins with 2:05 to play in the first quarter. Fouts checks over the sideline. Something's signaled into him. Fouts' numbers are beyond belief. He set records for total yardage, 4,800, 33 touchdown passes this season. 4th highest in one season all time. George Blanda holds the record. He threw for 36 at Houston way back in the early 60s. Fouts was going for 34 there to Wes Chandler.
He doesn't take long to get rid of the ball, Don, and that time he went to Wes. Brooks is standing out there on the sideline saying, hey, I'm standing all alone. But it's a 2-step drop, throw the ball on a 1-on-1 situation. He'd already committed. Really didn't have much of an area to throw it.
That's why he's so hard to get to. He throws it so quickly.
There's no key. The quarterbacks that can go back, know where they're going, and get rid of the ball, not only get a lot less sacks, but I think hit people right on the break a whole lot more often.
I asked Don Shula if he'll blitz him much. He says he knows what to do with it. You blitz him. 3rd down. 7 for the first down. Swing pass to James Brooks. Foot race with A.J. Dewey. And San Diego's in the end zone again.
You kind of get the feeling that Brooks went back in the huddle and say, hey, I don't know what the linebacker's doing, but nobody covered me on the last play. Fouts utilizes that information, slides a little slide pass out to him against the blitz. Nobody was fast enough to handle it. A.J. Dewey was responsible for being man-on-man with Brooks. That's a mismatch picked up by Fouts. They get 6 more. Now it's 23-0.
Fouts has put it up 6 times, has completed 5 for 79 yards in that touchdown. His 34th touchdown pass of the season. Ralph Benerska out there again, and once again he is right there. And so with 1:31 left to play in the first quarter, the Chargers stunning Miami, opening up a 24-0 lead. The Dolphins will try again on offense, and we come back to the Orange Bowl after this.
Some people thought it was risky to taste test my Schlitz against other top beers on live TV. But not our people here at Schlitz. We figured a lot of beer drinkers would pick Schlitz over their beer. And they did. Second hopping, Russ?
Right.
In my 40 years as a master brewer, I've never been more proud of my people or my beer. We'll keep brewing great beer, so more of you will keep choosing it. Taste our Schlitz.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
In today's Army, when artillery goes to the field, so does high technology.
Be all that you can be. Keep on reaching. Keep on growing.
Computers, laser-guided missile systems, and teamwork honed to a split-second response. And the Army gives you this kind of training with just a 2-year enlistment.
'Cause we need you in the Army.
Fame is energy. Fame is coming Thursday on NBC.
Back at the Orange Bowl, didn't take long for the Chargers to score yet another touchdown. After the interception by Glenn Edwards, they're in the end zone 3 plays later from 11 yards out, and it's 24-0 San Diego. Here comes Vigorito once again for Miami. Vigorito gets out across the 25 to the 28-yard line. Tomorrow, the NFL playoffs continue on NBC with the second AFC Divisional game starting at 12:30 Eastern Time. Bryant Gumbel reviews the playoffs on NFL 81. And then the Buffalo Bills, winners of last week's wild card game, take on the NFL's leading passer Ken Anderson and the Cincinnati Bengals. That's tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Time on NBC Sports. Shockers today. Dallas blasting Tampa Bay 38-0, and now in the first quarter, San Diego has opened up a 24-0 lead over favored Miami. Dolphins on offense, 1st and 10. Screens it out. Tony Nathan started a run before he had the ball.
Don, it's been since 1968. Against Kansas City that anyone scored 24 points in the first quarter against a Miami football team. And these are the sort of things that have to happen when you there's the net, there's that offense, that's not points yet.
No,
but if they don't do something, it might get that way.
It's 1/4 that bad though. Doug Betters on the sidelines. Miami's defense has been hit hard and often early in this game. There's a strike down the middle, 1st down Miami. The Dolphins go to tight end Joe Rose. Played a great game against the Bills, a 14-yard gain, and a big salute from the Miami following for a 1st down.
They've got to get the people in Miami excited. If they can do that, they can do something. Remember, this is the first down of the ball game. We're darn near out of the first quarter. Little Woodley to Rose pass over the middle for 14 yards. They've got to get some points on the board.
We must remember also that the Miami defense graded out 27th. The San Diego defense 27th in the NFL this season. Only Baltimore's was worse. Miami's going to score before this one's over. That we can be sure of. Here's Woodley. Not there, they're not. Another free ball. Miami got it back. They get it back at their 35-yard line. A loss of about 8 or 9 yards. Gary Johnson, 79, a Pro Bowler, came in on the rush.
Defensively in the secondary, San Diego's made some very good decisions because, as you see, Woodley's got enough time to throw the ball. Gary Johnson in pursuit of him. Now he stops, couldn't throw to the intended receiver, and by the time he went to his secondary, Johnson had him.
That was ruled a fumble, and the ball was recovered by Miami at the 35-yard line. So now it's 2nd down and 18. And that will do it for the first quarter, one that was very forgettable as far as Miami's concerned. They'd like to forget it. San Diego had a Hall of Fame first quarter, and they lead the game 24-0. We'll be back to the Orange Bowl after this.
Sometimes I don't want my kids watching what's on TV, but they can still watch something great with our RCA video disc player and video disc.
Just flip a switch, and on our TV, our kids can see the magic of Walt Disney and Charlie Brown, the Muppets and Mickey Mouse, the Black Stallion, Star Trek, and lots more. Starting at only $15, and the player costs less than $500.
Hello, Charlie Brown. Bring the magic home on RCA.
On a night like this, you don't need a car. You need a driving machine. 1982 Dodge Aries K wagon with front-wheel drive for superb traction. steering for quick response, electronic fuel control to go a long way between stops when there's no place to stop. What makes this 6-passenger driving machine truly exceptional? Price. Dodge Aries K, America's driving machine.
Get a car, get a check. $300 to $1,000 on select new Dodges. See participating dealers for full details.
United announces great low prices on complete Hawaii vacation packages. Prices that bring Hawaii closer from the East Coast, closer from the Midwest, closer from every city United serves. United, once-in-a-lifetime prices for a once-in-a-lifetime vacation.
Back at the Orange Bowl in Miami, the highest scoring team in the National Football League, the Miami Dolphins, have given up now 24 points to this high-scoring San Diego team. The Chargers, John, hitting early and often.
I think if you drew it up, as we mentioned earlier, San Diego couldn't have dreamt for anything better to have happened. But we've seen it 24-0 before in a playoff game. It didn't quite end that way, so they have to get something started. But the game is a long way from over.
Most points Miami's ever given up in a quarter. Since 68. Woodley throws over the middle. Vigorito can't quite get to the ball. Tommy Vigorito coming out of the backfield, and so it will be 3rd down at 18 for Miami. Dolphins in a hole on the scoreboard and with the down in yardage right now.
I do not hold David Woodley responsible. That was a poorly thrown ball, but for the score on at this time, I do know if they're going to win the ball game, it's not going to be with rollouts, setups, and quarterback runs. They've got a man like Don Strock who's sitting on the bench, who's pulled a lot of ball games out of the hat for Miami. He is a pure thrower. They're going to have to get into a situation where they throw the ball to Duriel Harris, Nat Moore, and occasionally run a draw play.
Well, let's see what they go to now on 3rd and 18. A straight drop, stunt in the defensive rush. And that stunt fools the blocking enough to get Woodley back inside the 30. 3rd sack of this game of David Woodley.
There you get the score to 24-0. Those defensive linemen getting their starting blocks and come. Number 79, Big Hands Johnson. Number 74, also Leroy Jones, 68, the first man to get a piece of Woodley. And Strock is warming up. And it makes sense, Don. It makes sense. Both of them complement each other very well. They have during the season. But Strock's the guy that can get the ball, get the scores for you quick.
Well, the Dolphins are quick to change pitchers if they're not moving. They've done it 5 times earlier this season. Now the punt downfield by Orris. He's happy to see that go out of bounds. You'll recall his last punt went to Wes Chandler. 54 yards later, Chandler and the football ended up in the end zone. Touchdown. We'll be back to the Orange Bowl after this.
Touch. Now Canon gives it a new meaning with the One Touch, the Canon NP120 copier. There isn't even a power switch. Just touch and copying begins instantly. You get 12 copies a minute on plain paper without wasted time or energy. The low-cost Canon NP120, the One Touch. Turning it off is even simpler. No touch. Call toll-free for information or contact your Canon dealer.
Welcome to warm afternoons and cattle rides.
Sunny rhyme days with your friends and mine.
Special moments.
The feeling shows. A gallows toast with the rhyme that flows. All the joy of sharing gallows wine.
Will we ever have a house like this?
Share the joy of gallows wine.
Next Saturday, the joint really jumps and jams when the unstoppable giant Ralph Sampson leads the Virginia Cavaliers against the quick and slick #1 North Carolina Tar Heels, right here on the home of great college basketball, NBC Sports.
This could have been a shot from last night here in Miami when the 48th Orange Bowl was played. And Clemson comes in with a national championship. The Clemson Tigers coming up with the great victory and the perfect season. San Diego, 10 NFL records this year. Led the league in touchdown, 61. Here goes Muncy as he breaks the Miami defense on a 1st down carry. Muncy is out from his own 27-yard line, out close to the 45-yard line, 18-yard gain.
Is there no stop? Now listen, they're running against an outstanding defense, one of the most well-coordinated groups in the league. He runs right by Baumhauer, or Bocamper, excuse me, number 58, who's stuck on the block by the left tackle. Russ Washington has no problem with him. They pick up another first down, and on we go.
On the Chargers go, that's for sure. It's been that story all game long, and we have 13:40 to play in the first half, with San Diego leading 24-0. Fouts gets it away, free ball. Glenn Blackwood almost had it. Some highlight pictures of last night's Orange Bowl.
That number 94 up the top of your picture, you think he was a happy man at the end?
One of Clemson's middle guards, William Devane. There's some Cornhuskers. They came back, but not far enough. Coach Danny Ford, coach of the year at 33 years of age, coach of a national championship team. Some guys in the end zone and some people celebrating from Clemson, South Carolina. That whole state was in celebration. Second down and 10 now. Hand off to James Brooks, and he takes it straight ahead, crosses the 45. Baumhauer knocks him down after a short gain. Under Don Shula, Miami has been almost unbeatable here in the Orange Bowl. 81% of the games they've played under Shula, they've won. This is going to be one of the 19% they haven't, unless they get cooking. Fouts throwing. Kellen Winslow on 3rd down and 7, takes it across midfield, close to a first down, but short of one. Glenn Blackwood and A.J. Dewey on the tackle for Miami. George Roberts, the next Dolphin, is out to punt now for San Diego. Roberts is what they term a 3-step punter. They went on a 2-step punter, so they got Orris. Roberts hasn't had one blocked, though, this year at San Diego. Gets it downfield. Vigorito lets it hop, and it's going to take a roll inside the 5 and finally into the end zone. So on a touchback, it comes out. 1st and 10 at the 20. 47-yard punt. 12:05 left to play in the first half. Back to the Orange Bowl after this.
This is no way to treat a personal luxury car, but this is no ordinary personal luxury car. This is the new Dodge 400. The cockpit says personal luxury, but here's the difference. Front-wheel drive, rack and pinion steering, McPherson struts, electronically controlled engine, and another extraordinary difference, extraordinary mileage. Dodge 400 is no ordinary personal luxury car.
It's a personal driving machine.
Dodge 400, America's personal driving machine.
Nothing makes a master brewer more proud than seeing a beer drinker choose his beer, like last year on live TV.
30, 49, 50%. 50% of loyal Michelob drinkers preferred the taste of today's Schlitz.
Well, since then, millions of you beer drinkers have put our beer to the test. So now I say thanks for choosing our Schlitz. And here's to a great 1982.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
Just think of a sports event that combines the best in comedy, entertainment, politics, and professional golf. Why, it's the prestigious 1982 Bob Hope Desert Classic, January 16th on NBC Sports.
This is Don Criqui with John Brodie back at the Orange Bowl. National Football League playoff day for the Dolphins, and the Chargers in San Diego has ripped open a 24-0 lead with 12:05 to play in the first half. John?
We see Strock in under the quarterback, under the center right now. And if you're a quarterback in a situation like this, I expect him to go down the field, make something happen, get people excited. I don't think it'll do him any good to run the ball off tackle.
He's tall, rangy, throws very well, is not very mobile. He gets sacked pretty often. Here's a throw, and he makes the connection. Don Strock goes to Duriel Harris, a 16-yard gain and a Miami first down.
Not only was was it a 16-yard gain, Don? It was a beautifully thrown ball. Coryell Harris runs that pattern with anybody in this league. Coming inside, blitzing situations. This didn't happen to be one, but he threw it right between the linebackers, caught Harris on the dead run. They picked up a first down. People are starting to stamp their feet.
Don Strock makes his first throw, a connection for a 16-yard gain and a first down. To the run. Tony Nathan turns to the outside. Almost turned the corner. Good defensive play by outside linebacker Lyndon King of the Chargers. Nathan led the NFL in average per rush, 5.3 yards.
What a great position to be in. San Diego can give you 3, 2, 4 yards and not worry much about it. That's been a problem with San Diego throughout most of the year. Lyndon King is good pursuit. Pulls him down for 2.
To make it 2nd down and 8. Coryell has been flying today here in Miami. 24-0 in the second quarter. Dolphins with the ball, 2nd down and 8. Wide open is Tony Nathan. Nathan takes it all the way down to the 35-yard line of San Diego, a 27-yard gain.
Tell you who, you know who a play like that will help, Don? It'll help the offensive linemen. It'll help the young fellas that are sitting on the sideline. It's almost like you say, hey, Tony doesn't figure we're out of this ball game. Coryell Harris doesn't figure so. Strock doesn't figure so. Once you start getting that viewpoint throughout the group, a lot of stranger things have happened. But you have to have the viewpoint first.
Well, they've got something going, and they need something badly. It's 1st down and 10 for the Dolphins, 35-yard line of San Diego. Another pick. This time, almost a connection as Nathan comes out of the backfield. He caught 50 balls this season, had over 1,200 yards offense running and catching it.
Well-thrown ball, and Pine Edwards is playing a deep center field right now. When you get a man playing a deep center field, if you can beat the linebacker with a back, you've got nothing but room to run. Good call into a defense that is actually giving you the play, and you should take it.
Tony Nathan from Alabama in the backfield. Along with Eddie Hill, another good pass catcher swinging out. 2nd down and 10. Here comes the rush. Strock stands in, puts it up, and it's knocked down by Lyndon King. He was going to Vigorito. Good defensive play by Lyndon King again.
A lot easier to cover a man when you don't have him one-on-one all over the field. That time Lyndon King had help. They were in a double zone with 2 deep safety men, 2 cornerbacks up tight. That means you've got 5 people in the short area. And you can defense play like that. Here comes Strock coming down the line. You see, King is from the inside out, but he's got help to the outside.
Miami's not converted a 3rd down in this game for a first down. You see 0 for 3. 3rd and 10 Dolphins. And it's open. Great reception for a first down. Jimmy Cephalo. 18-yard gain and a first down.
Very important for Strock to get off to as fast a start as he did, replacing Woodley. Cephalo's always been an excellent pattern runner, good ball control type receiver. He comes out with his feet out of bounds, but he was pushed out by the cornerback. Good call by the official. You make the judgment, but if he hadn't been moved out, he had both feet in bounds. 1st and 10 on the 17-yard line.
So Jimmy Cephalo comes up with an 18-yard reception, and now the Dolphins get closer. 1st and 10. 17-yard line. Swing pass goes out. Eddie Hill has it. Penalty markers down to the 10-yard line. .10:09 to play in the first half. The marker came just as Strock threw the ball. Legal motion in the Miami backfield. So from a 1st and 10 at the 17-yard line of San Diego, it'll now be 1st and 15 from the 22.
Illegal motion, number 81, first down.
It's a throwing situation anyway. They've got 3 tries to get it 15 yards down the field, eventually in the end zone. Strock's been very impressive, throwing the ball swift, setting up right, putting the ball where it has to be thrown.
First and 15.
They're coming, I think.
Miami takes it up the middle. Eddie Hill, a 210-pound runner out of Memphis State, came here from the Los Angeles Rams off the waiver list. Runs it inside the 20. Got back the lost yardage on the penalty. It's going to be about 2nd and 10 now. Chargers feel right at home here in Miami. Natural grass field, one of the best. That's what San Diego, of course, plays on in their home stadium.
And they've beaten Miami twice in a row here.
That's right. Last season in overtime, and the last time they played it was about 4 years earlier. 2nd down and just over 10. Strock to Eddie Hill. They don't get much if they got anything at all. Don Coryell.
This is one of those times that the umpire doesn't know where to go. Generally, he steps up, but Eddie Hill was forced inside, has to run over the top of him. It slows him down just enough to allow the pursuit to catch him. 3rd down and 10.
That umpire's a tough place to be. He stands right in behind the linebackers. It all comes at him. He can get caught up in the wash real easy.
What would you do if they don't pick it up here? Would you have a go at it on 4th down, or would you kick the field goal?
You've got to have a go. 24-0. 3rd and 10. Strock gets it away. Pete Shaw almost had an interception.
Well, Shula's going to have a go at the field goal, and you know, you can go either way right then, but the game is so early. There's still almost 40 minutes of playing time left. They need to get something on the board. Over 3 touchdowns behind. Strock got away with murder right here. He's in the grasp of a defensive lineman. I'm a little surprised they didn't call the ball dead. Pete Shaw will never have an easier attempt at an interception.
Just to get off the schneid, get that 0 off the board.
Yeah, I agree with that personally. I'm just testing you every once in a while. I want to know what you think. Well,
I'm going to go with Coach Shula here. Here he goes with Uwe Van Schamen, who's been super accurate. He's 20 of 21 from this distance. Inside the 39. He's right through the middle again. It's not a lot, but it's something, and the Dolphins are on the board. 24-3, but it is encouraging from a Miami standpoint. They moved the ball right down the field when Strock came in the game. 8:31 left to go in the first half as darkness starts to set in South Florida. We'll be back in the Orange Bowl after this.
In 1931, Texaco developed a new gasoline for emergency vehicles called Fire Chief. Not just for fire engines, but family cars, too. In 1941, Texaco helped create a fuel refining process for the national defense.
For tomorrow, Texaco is working on a way of turning America's plentiful coal into clean burning gas. These are some of the ways Texaco is making good use of America's energy resources.
It's coming. It's taking over in offices coast to coast. It's the paper block. It's packed with important papers that should move out of your office fast, but can't get loose. This is a job for the Federal Express overnight letter. It costs only $9.50 when you drop it off, and it actually gets there overnight. So you'll never have to worry about the paper blob again. Federal Express, when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight.
Back at the Orange Bowl, Van Schamen, who just hit the field goal for Miami's first points, ready to kick it off. It's 24-3. San Diego's in the lead. The kick goes downfield, and James Brooks takes off with it for the Chargers. Look out. Boy, he's a tough customer. James Brooks, 5'9", 180 out of Auburn. What a backfield he played in one year with William Andrews now of Atlanta and Joe Cribbs of the Buffalo Bills. All three of them in the same backfield. James Brooks at number 1, who had a big rookie season.
I don't know whether it's the inept play of Miami on special teams or the outstanding play by San Diego. I think it's a combination of both, because you can see everybody's got a piece of a defensive player. Jim Jensen finally makes the tackle. Remember, he's the third-string quarterback, and he may get some action. Not this year, but next.
Fouts takes a look, throws it over the middle, has another connection. Makes it to his tight end, Kellen Winslow. Linebacker Ernest Roan tackled him. Winslow, they deploy him as a wide receiver as much as he's a tight end.
Some teams you can sucker into playing it safe, trying to play ball control, but remember, Chuck Muncie is a little bit nicked up. They don't want to run him too much. Their offense is to throw the ball, and Dan knows how much time's left. He's going to keep firing.
He's been firing it very well. 11 passes, 8 completions for 104 yards and a touchdown. 2nd down and 3. Muncie. Did he get there? Looks like he did not with her spotting the ball, but he's not short by very much, and it'll be 3rd down now, less than a yard. A.J. Dewey on the tackle. Game clock down to 7:28 to play in the first half.
Right now, it's really mandatory on Miami's defense to control the line of scrimmage, okay? They've had a few things go against them. Here's Bob Baumhauer, one of the outstanding middle nose guards, going to the Pro Bowls, had a great season. He's got to be the anchor, and they've got to play outstanding defense in the line to get back in the ball game.
Chargers offense, John, as you're aware, was just unbelievable this year, scoring 61 touchdowns. They also led the league in average per play. They gained 6 yards in every offensive play.
And, you know, I don't think it'll ever happen again because a lot of factors have to be in focus. For a guy to average 300 yards a game throwing a ball, for a team to do the things that San Diego does, you have to have a defense that gives up enough points to keep you on the offensive. They've got that. And, I mean, I don't think there'll ever be a group of personnel put together like this offensive group.
When John Jefferson went to Green Bay, there was a big hole, but they quickly filled that with Wes Chandler. 3rd and less than a yard. Fouts goes over the top, and he's got it. Dan Fouts, 6'3", 210. Goes over the top and takes it ahead for a first down. Fouts now in his 9th year from Oregon.
Hey, he can fall forward all right. He was an excellent runner at the University of Oregon until he had a knee operation. When that happened, like with most quarterbacks that can run a little bit in their early years, he's elected to stay back there and stay clean, but he's taken an awful lot of punishment over the years. He's not very swift, but he's very swift getting rid of it.
He is that. Came in the 3rd round of the draft in a great year for quarterbacks. 1973, Burt Jones, Ron Jaworski, Joe Ferguson, Dan Fouts all came into the league that year. Fouts and Ferguson in the 3rd round.
Pretty stout group. When you got to go to the 3rd round to get Fouts and Ferguson. You know, it's funny. Kenny Anderson's having such a great year, all right, that you can't take anything away from him. But Fouts is having his best year, too. So you're talking about 2 quarterbacks that were making All-Pro that have had their best years.
Well, in that quarterback rating system, Fouts is over 90. He's rated at 91. 1st and 10. Here he's taking a look deep, pumping, letting it rip.
Gee.
Boy, that Wes Chandler goes up in the air and almost had another one. Chandler says when he runs a long pattern, that was Charlie Joyner going deep. Chandler on the left flank. He says, I go 3/4 speed, then I go boom.
Well, his 3/4 speed's about 4.5, Don, but his full speed is unbelievable. If Fouts hadn't gotten nailed just as he threw the ball by Baumhauer, this ball was a touchdown because he had Chandler. Now, Fulton Walker is no slowpoke. He returns kickoffs for them. He's a rookie defensive corner, and it's very hard to keep up with the great receivers in your first year. You're going to get beat by a step or so. That time Chandler had a lot of room to go had the ball been down there.
Let us not forget the amazing contribution of 13-year veteran Charlie Joyner this year. He caught 70 passes for 1,200 yards.
Look out.
Free ball. On 2nd and 10, Fouts is charged free of the football. Yep, Miami's got it.
That's the break they need to get back in the ball game. It happened because Dan did something that's very uncharacteristic of him. 2 plays in a row, he tried to get 3.5 to 4 seconds to throw the ball. He's a 5-step dropper, the kind of guy that hits his spots when they come open. This time he waited just a little bit too long. When he did so, Baumhauer put the whack on him. Baumhauer recovered. Bokamper got him first.
So the Dolphins are beneficiaries of a turnover with 6:41 to play in the first half, and they need all the help they can get at this point. Miami will go 1st and 10 at the San Diego 39-yard line. Tomorrow on NBC, playoff action continues as the Buffalo Bills head to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Pre-game at 12:30 Eastern Time. Don Strock stands in, throws it down. He makes the connection to the 19-yard line. Coryell Harris.
I'll tell you, they're playing a little bit deep. You don't give Coryell Harris this much room without getting a little closer to him. Mike Williams coming up a little late, never played the ball close enough. Klein coming up from his free safety position. 1st and 10 at the 19.
A 19-yard gain to the 19. Live action, 1st and 10 Miami. Ron Lee didn't know the snap count. He left early. It's got to be a bad feeling when you're on the other team's side.
It happens on occasion in critical situations. People say he had to have the snap count. He was in the huddle. But on occasion, your thought process don't work that way, and you do jump. That's how it got down there.
Right now, we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is WCKT, Channel 7, Miami.
First down.
6:58 to play first half. AFC Divisional Playoff game. Miami came in favored. San Diego opened up a 24-0 first quarter lead. Don Criqui with John Brodie at the sold-out Orange Bowl in Miami. With temperatures in the 70s and the wind coming off the nearby Atlantic into the face of the Miami offense. Again, markers go down. Markers down again as the Dolphins get yards, but looks like it's going to all come back.
They're getting started a little quick, Don. It's the second time they've tried to run a wide play once, a little quick pass to a halfback the next time. It's motion, I think. Once you've got a conference, nobody's sure.
They say the only way you can beat San Diego is to keep Fouts and the offense off the field, but San Diego's been able to score with Fouts off the field.
Look at him.
Chandler returning a punt for 54 yards. But this time the call goes against San Diego, a defensive penalty. So Ron Lee's lost yardage comes back, and it's going to be 1st and 10 again from the 19.
Yeah, but why did they do that? They made about 11 yards.
Encroachment, number 79. First down.
Must have been before the snap.
You got it. I wish they'd blow it a little louder. If you're a football player, you wouldn't keep playing.
Here we go again now. 1st and 10 Miami. Quick hitter, nothing there. Eddie Hill tried to rip it up behind Bob Kuchenberg and John Giesler and Louis Kelcher. Big enough to block out the sun, made the stop. Kelcher playing with injuries all year. 290 pounds.
Well, when you get a group of defensive linemen who pursue the way San Diego's do, occasionally you try a fooler play. That was a fooler play. They pull the guard, hope Louis Kelcher comes along with him. He didn't, and it's Katie bar the door for the back.
Gain of only a yard, 2nd down and 9. See the second quarter clock winding down to 5:12. Dolphins get yards inside the 15-yard line down to the 14, but it'll bring up 3rd down and about 5 as Tony Nathan caught the ball and Woodrow Lowe knocked him out.
Before the ball game, it was mentioned that Tony Nathan was still a little hampered by injury, and they haven't really featured him. He had a great year during the regular season, was out during their final game. They won anyway. If they get back in this game, I expect you to see a little more of him.
Well, as we know, it's not over late. Should have gone after 4 quarters. Miami trailing 24-3, but challenging right now. Strock throws, good throw. Great play by the receiver, Joe Rose. He leaned ahead. Let's see if he got the first down.
Don, he'd have never made the first down had he not had enough upstairs to know exactly where the first down marker was. You see that little right red stripe that's going down by the 11-yard line. He knows he's got to get it across that line. He's tackled. If he doesn't stick the ball out, he doesn't make it. He gets it out, fumbles it out of bounds. Good play.
You see the 51 is on the back of all the Miami players' helmets. That's in memory of the linebacker, Rusty Chambers, who died in an auto accident in the offseason. The Dolphins dedicating their season to the memory of Rusty Chambers. Here's Tony Nathan coming inside the 5-yard line on first down. And the Dolphins now come a knock-in with 3:30 left to play in the first half. Coach Shula starting to feel a little better about this thing.
Strock is about as sharp as I've seen him, Don.
He is looking good.
And it's funny, the metabolism that makes some quarterbacks go as a starter or a reliever. There's really room for a guy who thinks he might play or might not play to sit back, play second fiddle if things aren't going very well, jump right in and play. It takes a unique quality. Strock has that. He's played much better in relief than he has as a starter, and he's playing excellently right now.
He is really playing superb football, Don Strock, as the Dolphins now have it 2nd and goal inside the San Diego 5. Eddie Hill turns upfield and gets to the 2, and now 3rd down comes up. Miami a lot of times goes to the tight end and a little quick throw. They've got a couple guys that catch the ball in the short patterns, Bruce Hardy and Joe Rhodes.
They got a lot of tight ends.
They do have 3.
Hardy, Rhodes, Lee. I mean,
Rhodes just came in. 2 wide receivers come out. We got Duriel Harris coming out. Joe Rose goes in, so they'll go with 2 tight ends.
Strock wasn't quite sure of the intended play, so he's coming over to confer with Don.
Always a good idea when you're down this close. So the Dolphins have the ball to the San Diego 2-yard line. A touchdown will get them right back into action. We'll find out what they do when we come back to the Orange Bowl in Miami.
Picking and choosing the right investments requires very careful handling. One wrong move can easily damage the best laid plans. At Merrill Lynch, we know that size and strength can be very valuable. But it is our sensitivity to your investment goals and agility in helping you reach them that makes us what we are. Merrill Lynch, a breed apart.
Generation of Dodge Rams made an ex-Ford owner out of me, and now Dodge has come up with this new Ram Miser. Beautiful inside and out. And Ram Miser gives Dodge the biggest increase in gasoline mileage of all full-size pickups. Hard to believe it's America's lowest price pickup. Equipped, not stripped.
Dodge trucks are Ram Top.
Get a truck, get a check. $300 to $1,000 on select new Dodges. See participating dealers for full details.
Susan St. James, Bo Bridges, and Loretta Swit learn loving means holding on and letting go. The Kid from Nowhere, a world premiere movie Monday.
Miami is now working its way back into this game. There'll be a lot more back in if they can get into the end zone here. They are 3rd downs coming up. They're at the 2-yard line of San Diego, trailing the Chargers 24-3. Don Shula and the Dolphins weren't quite sure what hit them, but they knew it wasn't good when they found themselves down 24-0 in the first quarter. 3rd and goal, Miami. Clock gets it away. Touchdown to Joe Rose. They go to the tight end.
The best play that he had all day long. He's 9 of 12 for 97 yards and 1 TD. This is beyond the call. He knows he's trapped. He makes an excellent move to get around the first man. When he does so, he finds his alternate receiver. He's got Joe Rose. I mean, he must just run around looking for Joe because he's come up with so many big plays for him.
But
But they're back in the ball game.
Feel a lot better about it right now, trailing 24-9 with 2:46 to play in the first half. Long, long way to go. Don Strock ready for the point after attempt, which he delivers right through. And it's a 24-10 game. Joe Rose going into the end zone.
Watch Joe Rose, a little sneaker play. He's coming by, trying to sneak across. It's an outlet. They're trying to go to the fullback on a swing. He comes off the Rose. Touchdown, 24-10. That's an excellent drive by Strock.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
The people in St. Louis know their beer, but as a master brewer...
Schlitzer.
Thank you. I know one taste of my Schlitz can change a lot of minds. And now more people know.
I like Schlitz better than Bud.
I'm a Miller drinker, but you have to taste Schlitz to believe it.
Mr. Sillinger, your Schlitz tastes good. It's a good tasting beer.
Here's to it.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
Yes, New York, I think we have that information coming in.
These busy executives in 3 different cities are all at the same conference, a teleconference. They solve their problems without leaving the office through the Bell Network, the world's most advanced information management system. That reduces travel, cuts costs, gets more done. You are also part of the network. Use it. Put our knowledge to work for you. The Information Management Network from Bell.
The momentum has changed after the Chargers scored 24 unanswered points at the outset of the game in the first quarter. Miami has now come back to score 10 straight points. Dolphins getting back in it and ready to kick it off. As Joe Rose was just on the receiving end of a Don Strock touchdown pass. Von Schaman kicks a one-hopper down. The ball slapped at. Here comes James Brooks. Right up the middle, and James Brooks gets to the 35-yard line. But there is a penalty marker down. It'll go against the Chargers.
And that is a big break for Miami. They need to get the ball back in the hole if they're going to contain San Diego's offense. Take a look at the touchdown, Donnie. We mentioned earlier, we saw the official get in the way a little earlier. This is just good play by a tight end, using the official to pick the defensive back.
Another look at it.
Sometimes you can't get out of the way. You know, if you're an umpire, you just can't find a hole to crawl in, particularly when a group's throwing as much as both these teams are.
There's the mark-off now. That's going to set the Chargers all the way back to their 10-yard line. They would have been up close to the 40.
Illegal block below the waist on the return, number 37. First down.
This officiating crew, led by referee Fred Wyatt, has 70 years of experience officiating NFL games. National Football League summons all the officials before the playoffs, all the teams working the playoffs. They just had a meeting in Atlanta. Jack Reeder, Nick Skorich are here. So what do you go over with? And he says every possible aspect of the game. You start with a kickoff and go right through it. Everybody gets keyed up and geared up for playoff football. Joe Rose, who caught the touchdown pass, and there is the handsome Californian, is out of Cal at Berkeley. He runs deep patterns well. They go to him long a lot of times.
And it's very rare for a tight end that doesn't have great speed to be able to find the holes deep in any sort of zone defense. He can do it. He does it very well, and he's got very sure hands. You mentioned earlier he made 3 big catches against Buffalo to keep their drives alive. I think their defense is a little more stimulated right now just because Strock has given them hope. He's thrown the ball all over the field effectively. They feel back in it.
Don Strock almost went to Canada, or so is rumored in the offseason. Stayed in Miami, 8th-year player out of Virginia Tech. 6'5", 210, a 60% passer this season. Threw for 900 yards while he was in there. Today, he has been a master. David Woodley was pulled when the Dolphins found themselves down 24-0. Don Strock, for a 6th time this season, is called on to replace David Woodley, and Woodley's quarterbacked a lot of wins in the 11-win season for Miami. He doesn't feel bad when he's taken out because he knows that Strock has helped this team win, and they don't always pull David Woodley when the Dolphins are behind. In 2 games, the change was made at halftime, even though Miami was leading. Having some conversation on the sideline now, with 2:35 left to play in the first half.
They're trying to get that 30-second clock working, I think, Don. they're making a lot of motions to a lot of people. I can't tell for sure, but that's my guess.
Get some idea, John. You're talking about a guy averaging 300 yards a game, passing as Dan Fouts did. In one game this season, San Diego had 336 yards offense against Oakland overall. That was their lowest output of the season.
Hey,
36.
I'll show you what's going on. One of the wires that goes across the stadium has fallen down to such a level that
few of them have.
They've got to find a way to get that wire out of the area.
It's gone. Somebody cut it.
Hanging down about 6 feet. It's
more like a
string. Would see a lot of guys come to a sudden halt.
Sometimes you see people start to crawl across those wires, like in Buffalo when they put them up. There we go. Just a guy flying his kite. No big problem. Dolphin crowd starts up as the Miami defense digs in. To the run. Muncy breaks it. Takes a head-on hit and gets to the 20-yard line. Lyle Blackwood, a striker out of Texas Christian, the free safety, teaming with his brother in the deep secondary, Glenn Blackwood. He played at Texas. Glenn did.
Okay, they've run the ball pretty effectively on occasion. The momentum has changed. I think that little pause in the action helped San Diego get organized quite a bit. Take a look. A.J. Dewey in pursuit. Muncy runs right over the top of Lyle Blackwood. They're all after it, but they're after a big cat.
One thing about a team under control like Miami always is when they do fall behind, they don't try to get it all back at once. That's smart. A long way to go. We'll be back to check out the last 2 minutes of the first half after this.
Some people think the 1982 Ronald McDonald Sticker Fun coloring calendar is just for fun.
Yep.
While others think it's for saving money.
Absolutely.
Well, it's both.
There's Sticker Fun for every month.
And every month I get a McDonald's money-saving coupon.
The 1982 Ronald McDonald Coloring Calendar for everybody.
The 1982 McDonald's Coloring Calendar is 50 cents or less, with 25 cents donated to Ronald McDonald House at Jackson Memorial Hospital while supplies last.
How do you win a Dania High Lie?
First of all, I add the ages of my 2 children. I take 3 numbers, and I box them.
Divided by how many times my mother-in-law visits me every year. How do you win a Dania?
I am Christ. He's right.
And then I add my shoe size, my belt size, and my ring size. How do you win a Dania High Lie?
I'm psychic. You'll have a steak.
I'll have the steak.
Medium.
I flip a coin. 4.
Game. They were down 24-0 in the first quarter. The preceding announcement was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. John Brodie, what about when a team falls behind like Miami did? Do you have an alternate game plan that you might go to a disaster situation?
Well, obviously nobody expects to fall behind 24-0, Don. But when you do, you have to do what you have to work with. And they've practiced. They've got a 2-minute. They've got a 2-minute drill, and they've used it since the first quarter, and wisely so. They're far from in a good position in the ball game. But remember, if they can hold San Diego now, they get the kickoff in the second half too.
First and 10. Muncy again, and Muncy, big as he is so elusive when he breaks the line and gets into open field. Glenn Blackwood, the strong safety, finally tackled him as the game clock is down to 1:48.
I've never seen a guy that creates so much open field. Good pursuit. You see their offensive line keeping contact with Bo Camper. He breaks the containment. When he does so, he requires Lyle Blackwood to come in, try to pick up, but not before he gains 8 yards. His 8-yard gains look like 3-yarders.
Second and 3, back to Muncy. Again, he breaks it and gets ahead for what looks to be first down yardage to about the 32-yard line. Ernest Roan was on the tackle for the Miami Dolphins. Game clock down to 1:19.
All right, A.J. Dewey trying to get to the outside, mess everything up. He does so. He takes on the guard, allows Ernest Roan to come in and make a good tackle on Muncy, but not before he picks up a first.
$1:19 to go. Dolphins with 2 timeouts, as you see. Chargers with 2. Miami has really gotten the offense going, though, since Don Strock came into the game. Strock coming in for David Woodley has now put the ball up 12 times, has completed 9 for 97 yards, and the touchdown to Joe Rose. Coming up at halftime, NFL 81, Brian Gumbel, Mike Adamle, Pete Axthelm here to update you on what happened in the first half, what happened earlier in the day, what's going to be coming up tomorrow as the NFL playoffs continue. And all the best to Brian Gumbel, who will be going to the Today Show as the host, as you know, Monday morning, January 4th. Continued success to Brian. I'm sure he'll have it.
I'm sure he will, too. And if you're a Saturday Night Live fan, Joe Piscopo will be on at halftime with Brian. So
that's right.
I look forward to that.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Miami Dolphins and the National Football League is prohibited. Don Criqui with John Brodie at the Orange Bowl. 1:19 to play in the first half. Fouts gets it again. He goes to Kellen Winslow, and the Chargers come out with a first down to the 44-yard line, a 12-yard gain. Fouts has those happy feet. He really shuffles them.
Well, they're quick. You know, he doesn't run fast, but it doesn't take him long to move one past the other, go back 7 yards, set up, and fire the ball around. And when you have quick feet, when you keep your feet close together, it really increases your flexibility as to where you go with the ball. He does that. He bounces around, never keeps him too stationary, so that he really gives away where he's going with the ball. He just as often as not might have come out to his halfback in the flat. Puts a burden on a linebacker, I'll tell you that.
He looks at everybody, too, doesn't he? He checks them all out.
And the good thing is he checks his own people. He doesn't too much concern himself with where all the defensive players are. He concerns himself with who's open. And he can take a look quickly, see who is or isn't open.
Amazing.
He's got an alternate receiver. And it doesn't take him long once he sees the picture to release the ball. That's what you call a quick release. From the time you see what you like, how fast does it take you to get the ball off? There's some different reactions. I'd say that could make a book in itself.
Well, you can't tell about Coach Coryell whether he's winning or losing. He's got the same look. He wins a lot. You know about Coach Shula. Of the all-time coaches, he has the highest winning percentage.
Also the hottest, I think. Some people can sit and say differently, but I think he gets as involved and is hot on game day, particularly in an important ball game.
There's Brian Gumbel.
Who's that fellow?
Hi, Mom. 1:10 to go in the first half. Charlie Joyner turns out, makes the reception, and again, the Chargers move to another first down. So all of a sudden, instead of giving up the ball, they're moving down where they might be scoring before the half.
And they do it so matter-of-factly. All right, we've seen him move the ball 50 yards so easily. Once to Joyner on this occasion. Over to Winslow in the middle. They saw Muncie run for 2 first downs. It looks like everything's designed for them to pick up about 12 or 15 yards, just like walking off a log.
James Brooks down to the 38-yard line, and the game clock inside a minute now and running down to 55 seconds.
So Brooks walks in the huddle and says, hey, you haven't thrown me one. Fires in one, they almost get another first down.
Brooks is one of those 180-pounders who's not afraid to go right into a linebacker. Very strong. Fouts stops the clock with 42 seconds to go in the half.
Okay, people booing think they should be calling him for intentional grounding. Again, you mentioned it's not intentional grounding when you're stopping the clock, only when you're trying to avoid loss of yardage. Pete's taking his last time out.
This year, James Brooks, who we saw catch that pass, John, earlier, finished with almost 2,100 all-purpose yards when you count his rushing, his receiving, his return yardage. That was #1 in the NFL, and the most for a rookie since '65, when Gale Sayers had a little more. The rookie was Chicago.
Against us.
3rd and 4, good defensive play. James Brooks coming out of the backfield. Ernest Roan reaches in and slaps it down.
Boy, it's tough. When you're one-on-one with James Brooks all over the field and you stay close to him as he did then and break up a pass, you try to get situations like that. They had picked up 4 out of 6 third down situations. That was a big one to stop them on if you're a Miami fan, because remember, they get the ball back opening the second half. A good drive could pull them to within 7.
So a long one. 55-yarder by Benerska.
He makes this, I know something's going on.
Miami takes over with 30 seconds to play in the half.
Hey, it was far enough, though.
It was.
All right, you think these kickers don't root for the ball? You can pull a muscle rooting for these babies.
Just missed. You know the story about Rolf Benerska and his comeback, which is just monumental, what he overcame. Physical disability, a very serious illness, almost cost him his life. They didn't think he'd be alive, let alone playing in football, and he's come back to have another great year.
Still got time, too, if you're Miami, to put 3 points on the board. I think they'll go with that intention if they can get it down to the 35-yard line or better, and I think because of the wind conditions, they'd have to get it inside the 30 to have a realistic chance at a field goal, but that's only 33 yards now.
Swing pass, it goes to Vigorito. Looks for blockers, looks for the sideline, gets out of bounds with 24 seconds to play. Miami advancing the ball out across the 45-yard line.
A big play because now they can go down the field 20 yards. They'll have picked up almost enough yards for a possible field goal try. And
they'll spat it at the 44. Talking about Rolf Benerska, I'll never forget that great shot when he came back from the hospital. His body weight down to around 105 pounds, and he walked out on the field to a standing salute at San Diego with Louis Kelcher walking along with him. He needed somebody right next to him to be sure he could make it. That's how sick he'd been. Kelcher at 290 pounds, and Benerska coming back. And now Don Strock on 2nd down and 3 goes again to Vigorito. He's heading for the sidelines and a first down. Tommy Vigorito gets to the 48-yard line. 15 seconds on the clock.
He could have picked up 5 more yards. He wanted to get out of bounds, give them a chance to pick up a 20-yard completion and another field goal chance. This kid's a rookie, but he plays like a veteran. Number 32, that's why they use him in passing situations, coming out of the backfield. He makes the right decisions at the right time, and this was a proper decision.
He's a tough little customer. Tommy Vigorito out of the University of Virginia, 5th-round draft choice. He's really helped the Dolphins this year. Catches a lot of balls, a very heady player. Don Shula says he always knows what's going on. From the day he walked in here for the opening training camp session. Miami has converted 3 of 4 third downs with Don Strock at quarterback. Now they have 1st and 10. Another dump pass to Tony Nathan. Down to the 40, 7 seconds left. Clock stop with 6 seconds to go.
Super play by Lyndon King. Don, that play was set up. It was a screen center. They put 3 wide receivers to the left side. Tried to get the defense spread out with no one in the middle. They did that, and King made an outstanding play to set up a sure field goal try.
What do you do here now, John, with 6 seconds? Do you have time to a quick out?
I've got to throw something because he's not going to kick it going against the wind from 57 yards. I know they call him Uwe von Foot, but it is not that good. I think they'll try and get the ball. They've got plenty of time to throw a short out, but they can't throw anything in the middle because San Diego will let the time run out before they tackle him.
Some very impressive numbers for Mr. Strock. 15 throws, 12 completions, 124 yards, and a touchdown. Changing pitchers works out very well so far for Miami.
You know what I think they'll do, Don? I think he'll take a look at the defense. If he has something open to either sideline, he'll take advantage of it. If he doesn't, he'll go all the way down the field to the end zone because he only has time for 1 play left. He'll send 1 guy in the end zone in case both outsides are covered.
Don Coryell across the way, pacing the sidelines. Wait to see what Miami does as the Dolphins now have put up 10 points after San Diego opened up, stunned this whole place with a 24-0 first quarter lead. Nose of the ball at the San Diego 40. has only 6 yards rushing in this game.
Well, they were put in a position where they can't afford to rush. 8 first downs, all passing. What are you going to do? Make a nice 4-yard gain in that position?
Hard throw. The Orange Bowl has gone from stunned silence in the first quarter when the Dolphins were down 24-0 to absolute mayhem.
Nothing like flag football. 82, Duriel Harris, excellent play. They're going to let him catch it. Now here's the problem. You try to get on the wide receiver too quick. You let Nathan run his course. He outruns the defense, puts Miami back to within 7 points.
No team in National Football League playoff history has come back to win from a 24-0 deficit. But the Dolphins are out to change that.
No team has ever been down 24 quite so quickly and come back quite so swiftly.
What a great play. Strock to Duriel Harris. Cooley with the tackler on him. Loops the ball out to a streaking Tony Nathan. Touchdown Miami as the first half comes to an end. 24-17 the count at halftime after it was 24-0 in the first quarter.
And remember, they get the ball back opening the second half.
You might be witness to one of the great come-from-behind wins in playoff history. They'll be back at the Orange Bowl after this.
Why have over 1 million people replaced their brakes at Midas? Was it because they know Midas has brake mechanics that are specially trained? Was it because they know Midas has the right brake parts in stock? Or was it because they know Midas has over 20 years' experience under the car? Well, whatever the reason, it certainly was no accident. Get the Midas touch. Nobody else has it.
Compare dandruff shampoos. There's good, there's better, and then there's blue. Selsun Blue, the best dandruff shampoo money can buy. Clinical testing proved it works best with more complete dandruff control than any leading shampoo. Only Selsun Blue has the anti-dandruff ingredient doctors prescribe most. Remember, there's good, there's better, and there's blue. Selsun Blue. It simply works the best.
There's a new kind of driving machine. Dodge Charger 2.2 has a new running mate, Dodge Rampage. America's first sports pickup, like Charger, 0 to 50 in 6.6 seconds. Front-wheel drive for handling and exceptional mileage. Rampage hauls over half a ton for as little as $66.98. Go on a Rampage.
It's a whole new kind of driving machine.
Get a car, get a check. $300 to $1,000 on select new Dodges. See participating dealers for full details.
Air Florida announces a low fare for the new year. $107 to New York, $107 to Washington, D.C., and only $135 to Boston. Air Florida to New York, Washington, D.C., and Boston. At our prices, now everyone can go. Air Florida, 1-800-432-8505.
in Miami, and at halftime, the Orange Bowl is alive with enthusiasm. The Dolphins trailing now 24-17 in a ball game remarkably similar to the one we had at Shea Stadium last week. Bills jumped in front 24-0, only to see the Jets come back to 24-10 at the half and make it a ball game in the second half. Here the Chargers jumped out in front 24-0 and then came back making it 24-17 with this hook and trail. We'll have first half highlights and be joined by Joe Piscopo right after we take time out for these messages from your local station.
Tuesday.
Well, isn't this cozy?
An old flame of Mavericks comes between him and Tom.
I like the cut of your cloth, and I'm not ashamed to let you know it.
Threatening to end their partnership.
I'm just liable to forget what good friends we are. He's threatening me, Tom.
But Maverick still knows how to capture a lady's heart.
These things take training and experience.
There's a world of opportunity out there. An Intercontinental Bank can show you how your business can make the most of it. Whatever line you're in, we have the financial know-how you need to develop new markets, expand your horizons, and build a more exciting future for yourself and your company. We'd like to help your ship grow. Because at Intercontinental Bank, we know that the best way we can grow is to help you grow.
Tomorrow, and through this weekend only, this is the moment Toyota buyers wait for. A special Toyota New Year sales drive with big savings on any new Toyota car or truck. Save big on the all-new fabulous Celicas and exciting Supras. Get special weekend savings on all-new Corollas, all Coronas, all Cressidas, and Tercels. Save hundreds to thousands of dollars starting tomorrow and through this weekend only at Toyota dealers. Come in and drive off with your big Toyota savings.
Air Florida announces a low fare for the new year. $107 to New York, $107 to Washington, D.C., and only $135 to Boston. Air Florida to New York, Washington, D.C., and Boston. At our prices, now everyone can go. Air Florida, 1-800-432-8505.
Lee Webb, he's more than just a spectator sportscaster.
We're back at halftime in the Orange Bowl, and the Chargers are out in front of the Dolphins 24-17. There is excitement in the air. There is playoff fever in the air among the Miami fans. It's different than the kind of fever Saturday Night Live's Joe Piscopo anticipated. We asked him to give us his view of the playoffs.
Thanks, Bry. Hello again, everybody. Joe Piscopo live. NFL 81. The big story, playoffs. Dolphins, Chargers, Bengals, Bills. Question, is this the best the AFC has to offer? NFC, just as bad. We all know everyone loves to see Tampa Bay in action. When I think playoffs, I think Steelers, Raiders, not Bills, Bengals. I think Landry, Knoll, not Greg, Knox. Here's a preview of this weekend's exciting football. Thrilling, awesome, devastating. Who wins? Who knows? Who cares? Joe Piscopo live, NFL 81. Back to you, Bri.
Thanks, Joe. And, you know, Pete, I guess Joe's making light of the fact there's been such a big turnover. The teams involved in the playoffs, do you think it makes a difference to the fans around the country? Do they identify with the big teams, the big names?
Well, I think some do, but I know there's nobody in this stadium complaining right now. You know, in the first quarter, I thought they had to lock the doors until we held an investigation and find out who those guys were in the green uniforms. But tremendous excitement. Now, I happen to be a guy, I love new teams in there. You know, put funny stripes on their helmets like the Bengals, but invite them in the playoffs.
It's remarkably similar to last week's game when Buffalo jumped out in front big and the Jets came back. And the Chargers are the kind of club, when they get out in front of you 24-0, usually they bury you. What happened?
Well, Chargers are usually great front runners, but they do have obvious weakness in the secondary, and Strock did exploit them. And, you know, now they've got 15 minutes to think about all those other playoff games they've blown in recent years. This could be a long halftime for them.
Very quickly, were you shocked by what happened in Dallas today, Tampa Bay being blown out?
Tampa Bay, they had a few guys the first time in the playoff got nervous. I think it could happen, and it did.
Well, the final was 38-0 in Dallas. We turn our attention to that ball game. John McKay's club in the playoffs as NFC Central champions for the second time in the last 3 years, but things did not go well for McKay and Williams and company. First period action. Doug Williams forced out of the pocket on the run. Take a look at this. Monumental achievement. Throws the ball 70 yards in the air, but it is picked off by Dennis Thurman, his second interception of the ball game. It closed out a scoreless first quarter. Danny White wasted little time, though, in getting the Cowboys on the board. This is White. This is Tony Hill. That's a 7-0 lead for Dallas. Dallas and Danny White continue to work. Here, White back to throw, manages to hit Tony Dorsett for a big game. It set up a field goal by Raphael Septien. That made it 10-0. Meanwhile, Doug Williams from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense had trouble getting on track. Here he's intercepted by Michael Downs, one of 4 interceptions Williams suffered on the day. And when Tony Dorsett went over from 5 yards out, it was 17-0, 24-0 at the half. The final again, Dallas a winner, 38-0. This 1981 National Football League playoff game is brought to you by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. By the new Chrysler Corporation. For 1982, Chrysler has the cars, the quality, and the prices America needs. By Texaco, who also brings you quality automotive products you can trust. And by RCA Video Disc. Bring the magic home on RCA.
NBC Sports World, the most innovative and exciting sports show returns. Starting Sunday, January 17th, our new season debuts with live action as the undefeated matinee idol of boxing, Bobby Chaz, battles the devastating undefeated Robbie Sims. Plus, see the historic return to competition of America's most famous gymnast, Kurt Thomas. Then on January 24th, we hit the gridiron. See the winners and losers, upsets and surprises as we recap the 1981 NFL season. Then 1 week later, backed by popular demand, the 1982 World Pro Figure Skating Championship, showcasing the greatest names in the history of figure skating, featuring all-stars Tyler Cranston, Olympic great Dorothy Hamill, and the exciting pairs team of JoJo Starbuck and Ken Shelley, against pro stars Robin Cousins, twice world champion Linda Fradiani, and the acrobatic Charlie Tickner. Then February slides in with thrills, chills, and spills.
Oh, look at this go! Down! What a ball there!
Plus the world's premier indoor track meet, the Milrose Games, and the thunderous, explosive waves of Oahu in men's World Cup surfing. Kick off your 82 with the leader in innovative sports television, NBC Sports World.
Back at halftime at the Orange Bowl, Chargers out in front of the Dolphins by a score of 24-17. I'm joined by Mike Adamle. Mike, we missed the boat. We were talking about San Diego's offense and Miami's defense. The turning points of the game have come from a unit we didn't even bother with.
Yes, Bryant, the special teams, as a matter of fact, they counted for many of the points that the Chargers were able to roll up to make it a 24-0. Wes Chandler's punt return and the fumble recovery by Hank Bauer.
Also, are you a bit surprised when the Chargers got in front? I turned to you, I said they don't have the big play offense to get back in the ball game.
But we keep forgetting about Don Strock. He likes this kind of situation where all he can do is throw.
Well, he was called on under only adverse conditions because in the early going, Don Coryell and the troops certainly had things going all their own way.
A 32-yard touch field goal by Vernershka was set up by this 54-yard pass reception by Wes Chandler. He's made fans forget about John Jefferson. And then a punt return by Wes Chandler. He was the short man. He gets loose for 56 yards behind some great blocking. That made it 10-0.
And that was part of that special teams play you alluded to. This is more of it. Vernershka kicks the ball up. It comes to rest at 25, takes a San Diego bounce. Hank Bauer recovers it, and the San Diego offense in business once again.
They moved all the way down to the 1-yard line, and then Chuck Muncy, who has had an outstanding evening, follows the block of number 25, John Capoletti, and it makes it 17-0 after the kick. And then after a Glenn Edwards interception, an 8-yard touchdown pass to James Brooks, that made it 24-0.
A Von Schaman field goal finally got Miami on the board to make it 24-3. And then this key third down play, a gutty throw by Strock right here as he's under intense pressure, completes the pass to Joe Rose, touchdown. That made it 24-10. And then as time wound down in the first half, we used to call this the hook and trailer at base. It goes to Harris, it goes to Nathan, it goes for a touchdown, and it goes to 24-17. And as we look on for a second half of football, Michael, a lot of people have demeaned the Chargers' character. They say that when teams give them a fight, the Chargers tend to board the bus. What do you think?
kind of unwarranted. I know I'm going to get an argument from Peter, but this is a team that won the, repeated as a division champion, the only team to do that this year. They could have bellied up against the Oakland Raiders the last regular season game. They did not. They'll come up fired
And
up.
I think it's worth noting, as John Brodie said, the Dolphins will take the kickoff. We've got a lot of football to go. It's 24-17 for a berth in the AFC Championship game. Second half to come after commercial break.
Head and Shoulders doesn't have it. Selsun Blue doesn't have it. Only Denerex has it. An extra relief medicine to stop dandruff itch. You can feel it tingle.
All three have one medicine for dandruff itch, but only Denerex adds a second medicine, an exclusive anti-itch medicine many dermatologists recommend.
You can feel it tingle. That's extra relief medicine, and only Denerex has it.
In regular or New Mountain Fresh Herbal, Denerex stops dandruff itch with an extra relief medicine.
Mom, can we play the radio all night?
All night. Good thing I bought the Energizer.
Of all leading brands, nothing outlasts the Energizer from Everready. Nothing outsnaps it. Nothing out-adds, outwalks, outplays, outtapes, outshines, outlasts it. Nothing.
The Energizer even outlasted Susie.
Energizer.
Long life.
Energize me.
This Bud's for everybody who races the weather to bring in the harvest.
This Bud's for all you do. The king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
First quarter lead, the Miami Dolphins come back to score 17 points. Come right back in the ball game as we get set now for the start of the second half. John Brodie, that might have been the play of the season. Certainly for Miami it was. The pass, subsequent lateral to Tony Nathan, and the touchdown that brought the Dolphins to within 7.
I'll tell you what's interesting about it is during halftime you walk up and you ask a coach, do you work on that play? And he says, oh yeah, we've got it in our playbook. Well, you know and I know they haven't worked on that play, if ever, since the first day of practice. But what they do is when you get to that position, it's only the great coaches and the really creative people that can come up with something like that. They came up with something, depended on a bad play by the cornerback, got good commitment, turned a situation that didn't look too good for them into a touchdown, puts them right back in the ball game. And I'm curious to know how much the heat can affect San Diego down here. Now, I've been down here, and you know we've discussed it. The plug's been pulled on me. It is very humid tonight. The temperature doesn't really indicate how humid it is, Don. And I'll be interested to see.
Those uniforms indicate a little bit. They're really pouring water, these players.
Yes, sir.
Miami's used to it, if anybody can be used to it.
It's so hard when you've had a ball game in your hip pocket to have a team come back the way Miami has and at home and now get regenerated.
They practice in the humidity all season. Of course, Miami at home here in this humidity. San Diego from a warm climate, not the humidity. It's really rough on teams from the north that come down here late in the season. They really die in the second half.
It's not too good when they come up from the north early in the season either, or from the west coast or anywhere else.
Ralph Benerska set to kick off. Ralph was on the field all the time in the first quarter, kicking field goals, extra points, kicking off after the San Diego scores. And now it's turned, and here's a line drive to Vigorito. He's across the 20, out to the 26-yard line. You remember those Miami turnovers early in the first quarter that turned this game around. Cliff Thrift coming down to make the tackle. That ball tends to be elusive when it's humid like it is tonight in Miami, Florida. Slick on the ball, they can lose it in a hurry. Now the Dolphins go on offense, moving into a pretty good breeze coming in off the nearby Atlantic. Don Strock at quarterback, who relieved David Woodley and played superbly in the first half to get Miami back in the game. Andra Franklin, the rookie runner from Nebraska, takes it straight ahead in a first down carry. Gets it out to the 28-yard line where Louis Kelcher knocked him down along with Lyndon King. Don Coryell's seen many things in his many years of coaching. Not too sure that second quarter is what he's wanted to see. The first surely was. Bob Levy, the coach of Kansas City, talking about how innovative Don Coryell says of Coryell. He was in low-cut shoes while the rest of us coaches were still wearing high tops. Second and 8. Here's a throw and a diving attempt. Incomplete, and a penalty marker down on Pete Shaw. First down for the Dolphins.
I don't know which way it's going to go, Don. I guess if you saw it that way, that's... I couldn't see the initial contact. It was thrown from quite a ways away.
He jumped on his back.
All right. Strock's got plenty of time to throw. Got a one-on-one situation. Pete Shaw and Hardy. It goes in the favor of the O's.
Defensive penalty against the San Diego Chargers, resulting in 5 yards and a first down for Miami.
Holding 54. First down.
Actually got Laslovic on a hold up close.
I wonder what Pete Shaw was doing up there. I didn't see him, but...
He was covering. He was in on Hardy after Laslovic picked him up at the line of scrimmage and tried to hold him up.
I couldn't see him do anything. That's why I was surprised when I saw the call.
First down and 10 now, Miami. Timing pattern. Guriel Harris catches the ball at the 39-yard line of San Diego. Oh, man. You're not kidding.
That's a play. I was very interested to see how Strock would come out in the second half. If he keep firing the way he ended up the first half. He picked it up in exactly the same fashion, throwing a perfect strike to Guriel Harris on the dead run. Great catch. Edwards had the play covered.
Glenn Edwards also put a shot right on his chops there, and Guriel Harris hung onto the ball. Big gainer on the play. 28 yards and a Miami first down. Andre Franklin looks for the tough yards inside and gets down close to the 38-yard line. Might have gotten a yard, no more. Laslovic, 54, was on the tackle, along with Lyndon King.
You know, I would say in some cases a team that had a great defense would have a little bit more trouble rebounding after they have a 24-0 lead and they watch it dissipate. But in San Diego's case, it's happened before, okay? And Fouts and his offensive group have responded on most of those occasions.
Let's see what they do now on 2nd and 9. Miami Dolphins go to the pass to the 35-yard line, but still well short of a first down. Good defense by the Chargers. Woodrow Lowe and Lyndon King, the outside linebackers.
They're trying to get the halfbacks isolated on the linebackers. This time Woodrow Lowe and Eddie Hill. Lowe's got him fairly well covered. Not before he picks up 5.
The Dolphins, with a touchdown and an extra point here, would tie the game after they were behind 24-0 in the first quarter. 3rd down and 6 coming up. Three wide receivers sent to either side. Here's a throw. Man is open, and the ball is caught. Guriel Harris at the 16-yard line. John has completed 12 in a row now.
Well, if there was any doubt as to whether Guriel Harris has recovered, you know he's been embarrassed for the last month, not being able to play after that spike in the end zone. This is the way to take care of all the problems. He's come back, having not played since that game, made 3 big plays in the last 2 minutes of play, 2 in this half, and 1 to end the half, and have got them back in the ball game. That's a great reception. Pretty well thrown, but a great reception.
Guriel Harris spiked the ball in the end zone, hurt his knee doing it. That would be embarrassing. Now the Dolphins go right to the run, get it inside the 15-yard line. Driving the ball straight ahead was Tony Nathan. Don Strock, since he's come in with 12 completions in a row, has hit 16 of 20 for 209 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He's in the middle of his best game ever. There be no doubt about that. This is the best I've ever seen him play, and I'm sure it's the best he's ever played.
It's about as good as anybody's ever played.
Right.
Chafin can't hold on a 2nd and 8 play, so now a big 3rd down comes up for the Dolphins. Vigorito comes into the offensive backfield. Nat Moore comes in the game, and so does Joe Rose, the tight end who caught the touchdown pass.
They've got a lot of receivers with different abilities, eh? And right now they've got San Diego guessing.
With Strock at quarterback, the Dolphins have converted 4 of 5 previous 3rd downs for 1st downs. This is a tough one, 3rd down and 8. Joe Rose, touchdown Miami.
Points. San Diego's in a blitz. Strock reads it perfectly, comes to his tight end. Pete Shaw's trying to cover Rhodes. He has no play. When you give a quarterback a lane with no linebacker in between him and the intended receiver, with a strong safety trying to cover him, he's got no case with a man as big as Rose is. Perfectly thrown ball. He zips it in the end zone. He's a little slow getting up. It looks like a cramp.
Hopefully it's a cramp, because they can work that out. He'd be back in there. We'll be back to the Orange Bowl right after this.
A little Old Spice has a lot of rewards. Old Spice is the clean, fresh, masculine scent so many women love. So even if you love only one woman, you'll love Old Spice, the man scent so many women love.
You boys are kind of, thirsty.
Yeah, we give us some all liquor.
Bull or dynamite?
Dynamite. Colt 45 and explosion, loaded with dynamite taste. So grab one, down one, get yourself around one. Colt 45 is a dynamite taste.
Say, you guys need a bat boy?
Thursday, Belker meets Captain Freedom, and after a brutal mass murder, Furillo declares war on the street gang.
Somebody's gonna pay for what happened last night.
On Hill Street Blues.
Joe Rose is up and about, and he's all right. He surely is, after going into the end zone for a 2nd time with a touchdown reception from Don Strock, and the Dolphins now an extra point away from tying this game.
Did you see the look in Strock's eyes? I've never seen the bigger whites in my life. See how sweet it is when you got it going this way, pal. Don't stop.
He liked what he saw. Joe Rose open for a 2nd time in the end zone. The extra point is up and good, and we can all be witness to one of the great comebacks in the history of this league, certainly in the playoffs, as the Dolphins down 24-0 in the 1st quarter have come back to tie the game.
How about that job?
Some unusual number combinations, but it all adds up to 24 Miami, 24 San Diego.
Don, I have mentioned on several occasions, and we have both, that San Diego probably has the most prolific, productive offense in the history of professional football. And right now, you're asking the best offensive football team that possibly ever played this game to get your group back in the game. If anyone can, I'd like to have Fouts and his group behind the controls.
Well, that's right. Fouts can make it happen in a big hurry, and he's going to be out to do that. Tomorrow, the NFL playoffs continue on NBC Sports with the 2nd AFC Divisional game. Starting at 12:30 Eastern Time, host Bryant Gumbel reviews the playoffs on NFL 81. And then the Buffalo Bills, the wild card, the team that's been winning on the road, goes against the leading passer in the NFL, Kenny Anderson, and the Cincinnati Bengals at Riverfront Stadium, Cincinnati. Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen are there. They will be tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Time on NBC Sports. A high high spinning kickoff taken by an upback. Doug Brodie moves ahead and gets it out across the 35-yard line to the 37. So Don Coryell will go on offense in good position to start with their first possession of the second half. Ken Poole made the tackle.
And that's the first piece of action that Brodie has really had for San Diego. You know, he was just activated today, and formerly he was with the Dolphins. A lot of times a coach will take a man just for that reason, but let's just take a look at the intensity that's being displayed by Miami. Brodie makes a good jump over the first man, and back to the action.
Chuck Muncie and the Chargers are stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Go to the run. There's nothing there. No gain. Might have gotten a yard. Make it second down and 9. We're early in the third quarter. 10:20 to play in it. John Sandusky, one of the assistants, talking of Don Strock. What a game he's had. Don Strock coming off the bench to relieve David Woodley.
He's just having a lot of fun.
Here is Dan Fouts throwing over the middle, and he's got Kellen Winslow in open field. And Winslow is down the far sidelines and finally knocked out of bounds inside the 35-yard line. So the Chargers strike with the big play they need so badly.
Right, and we mentioned Mike Kozlowski will be man-to-man on Kellen Winslow through most of the day. On this particular occasion, he was not. He gets by the linebacker. Then Mike Kozlowski tries to pick him up after he eludes Blackwood. This man makes a lot of big plays for San Diego, and he mentions that 3-yarder that he made against Tampa Bay in a 24-23 Donnybrook as his biggest play of the season. Loves to be in the position. He's in it now.
John, you may vividly remember the best comeback prior to this in '57 when the Lions came back against the 49ers from 20 points down.
Yeah, I watched it.
Penalty markers down the Miami secondary.
He may get defensive holding called. You know, Fouts was looking at an intended receiver, saw him either held up or slipped.
Oh, it's going to go the other way.
Well, my.
Offensive pass interference. Right now, we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is WCKT, Channel 7, Miami.
The Chargers set back by the penalty against them as referee Fred Wyan checked it out with the Miami field captain. First and 10 play originating at the Miami 31-yard line. Now the step off.
You know what you see very little of in this game? Players sitting on the bench.
Interference, number 80.
Boy, that is for sure. They're all up and along the sidelines. When they first showed up on the field after we were here at the Orange Bowl last night, they had a laugh because it looked like there was only a third of a football team out there. Clemson and Nebraska each dressing about 115 guys.
They had a league.
First down and 20. San Diego. Game is tied. Beautiful break up by Miami. Dwight Scales turning over the middle. Don McNeil in the Miami lineup. Broken arm and all. Knocked the ball down.
Hey, you don't have to catch it. He's a very good man-to-man cover. They feel he's probably the best cover on the Miami defense. He's asked